Is there a So am I on? Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me for parent engagement. I have been traveling around for about a year now doing parent engagement seminars, and every time I do a session, I learn new things. So this is going to be interactive. You guys are going to be sharing out ideas that you have as well with each other. And so the first thing that you need to be able to tell parents when you're going to be doing an event of some kind is why you. Why should they listen to you? Okay, why is it that you're the expert on whatever it is that you're presenting, right? And so I have a why me up here. I'm not going to go through there and read all of that. I have been teaching for 22 years. I'm a published author. I have a fabulous son who's serving in the U.S. Air Force. I'm involved in a lot of things, and a lot of diverse things in literacy, teacher leadership, and the USS Colorado Commissioning Committee along with U.S. Navy League. So I try to diversify in all the things that I do. So, so the purpose of our event today is to not only engage parents, but engage the community as well in what is going on in our schools, in our classrooms with our students. It's no longer really enough for us just to communicate through parent-teacher conferences and newsletters that go home. Parents need so much more. They need more support at home. Like Kyle said this morning, we live in two Americas, and we need to be able to, connect with our community and with our parents and do it in a variety of ways. So that's what we're going to be working on today. And the key things that I am looking at that are the cutting edge issues right now they are Common Core and PARC. And getting in front of these things with parents and putting them in a positive light and demonstrating what is happening in our classrooms for the parents to be able to see and community members to be able to see, so that we can proactively be out there for what's going on. In addition to that, technology and all the other really great stuff that's going on in our schools and classrooms today. So I'm going to be introducing strategies and resources to engage stakeholders school-wide, provide meaningful, positive information about Common Core, CMAS PARC that you can share with stakeholders, and afford hands-on resources that you can use in the classroom in addition to your events when you're sharing with parents and things. So where to begin? So I call it PQ, Plan, Prepare, Present. Parent and community engagement presentations are key to getting the word out about whatever topic you want to discuss. The most important thing is to be creative. So just having them come to a little workshop like this isn't going to quite cut it. So we need to be really creative, and that's what we're going to be doing in a little bit. We're going to create some ideas and some energy around some different things that you can do. And you want your questions but one of the guiding questions can be, how can parents help their kiddos? So when they're coming in, you're saying, we're here to help you help your kids. We want to show you what we're doing that's working, and we want to show you what it is that you can do to help at home. Because there are a lot of our parents that sit back and say, I can't help. I teach in a school that is 100% free and reduced lunch. We have free breakfast, free lunch. We have free snack that comes to the classroom every day. So I know I have parents in my classroom who feel like they can't help their kids at home. So they say, read with my child. I don't even have books for my child to read. So I knew then I needed to put books in the hands of my students to keep at home. So I call it building a shelf. So we are building a shelf, an at-home shelf. Each of my students every week gets a book on a Thursday. Thursday is when they get their homework assignment for the week. When the reading log goes home, now they have a book to read. So every Thursday they get a book with their reading log. So They could choose to read that book, or they could choose to read something else, but I'm starting to see the titles of that book I'm sending home, and they get to choose from all different things, fiction, nonfiction, everything else. So parents then can see, okay, one problem solved. Yes, there's a library. So our parent engagement committee is partnering with our close library, having them come to our literacy night and set up a table. And they're going to, sign kids up for library cards. We're going to put a certain little code on that library card. The first time the kid goes to the library and uses that card, they're going to get a prize. So it's not just enough to get the parent in there to get the card. Okay, so that's one problem solved. Now it's at the school, right? So now we just have to get them to take the child there. Well, what's going to drive them there? I want the prize. The kiddo's saying, I want to go get my prize. So that'll get them to the library. We'll see. I'll let you know. So how can community members come together to support student achievement? So you can do things like literacy nights, science fairs, parent-teacher conference, engagement parties. You can do seminars, lunch bunch talks. You can do coffees with the principal, coffee with your literacy coaches. You can do all kinds of open houses like that. You can do park prep programs for families. So you can have them come in, set up computers, and the families sit down and work on some of these things that I'm going to show you. The important thing is to make it interactive. So with that said, I'm going to have you do a brainstorming session with the people at your table. There are 4 different Post-its, and there are 4 posters around the wall. There are 4 questions that I'd like you to answer on each of those Post-its. So the first one is, who are your stakeholders? Okay, so brainstorm on the yellow Post-its. Who are your stakeholders at your school? Almost every one of us will have some of the same answers. But I want you to add those common answers, and then I want you to think outside the box. Who are people that are stakeholders that may not realize they're stakeholders yet? Who can we pull into our school to be community members in our school and support our school? On the yellow Post-it, okay, what important information do these stakeholders need to know about your school? On the blue Post-it, what key topics do you need to present to these stakeholders to increase student achievement? Remember, our goal is to increase student achievement, to help our kids be successful. And then over here on the events, what events can you host to engage these stakeholders to support student achievement? So go ahead and have some fun with different colors here, and we're going to be doing this for just a few minutes, and then go ahead and get up and put your Post-its up on the parking lots, and I'll be walking around with switches. And don't forget to go ahead and come put your Post-its up on your parking lot. There's a lot of great ideas floating around. Let's go ahead and wrap them up a little bit. We'll have some more time to talk in a few minutes. Sorry. Yeah, it's up on the PowerPoint. Okay, well, let's give it about 30 more seconds and let's wrap up our conversations. I know, right? I look to see what I was pressing up against and then whiteboards and all kinds of stuff like this. So that's fun. Her cover over there is a black one. It's so cool. Okay, so coming back together in 3, 2. If you have any post-its to go ahead and put up, go ahead. 1. Or when I'm teaching negative numbers, they say 0, -1, and then they say, oh no. They're like, what are those numbers anyway? Well, we're going to learn them. So, okay, great. Well, thank you. I hope you guys thought about the out-of-the-box type stuff too, because it's really going to help in our next piece that we're going to do. So, in your handouts, I have all of these, plus probably a couple more of these resources listed on the back of your handouts of that first page. And all of these I have used in one way, shape, or form. So Raise the Bar Parents, and I'm going to show you some screenshots of each one of these, is one of my best resources. When I did an event last year with one of the other participants at this conference, Anna Santiago, if you meet her today, she and I co-did an event at our school. And of course we planned it, we had everything just right. We had refreshments. Let me tell you, by the way, refreshments are key at all these things. We had everything ready. The day before, they said the weather was going to be chilly, but not much. The worst ice storm last year was February. Remember that night? The worst. That was our event. We're like, oh my gosh, what do we do? So, because of course it wasn't planned, but you know what? We said, we're just going to do it. Whoever comes will come. We had 12 families. That was awesome in this ice storm. And we had a couple of our fellow teachers and friends that came out and supported and everything. And this one mom, and I'm going to tell you about being prepared ahead of time in a moment, but we were prepared. And she came walking in and she was like, I said, well, hi, thanks for coming and braving the storm, and held up my hand, and she was like, well, go ahead and help yourself to refreshments, and have a seat. We'll be getting started in a minute. I turned around and I was like, whew. Okay, you know, this is going to be a good one, right? And so we get started, and I bring up the Raise the Bar, and I show them the interactive piece of it. And there's a table full of kids in the back that kind of congregated together. You know how kids always like, oh good, there's kids, we'll sit together. And this one little boy back there, he raises his hand and says, can I try it? And I said, sure. Miss Vick, who was one of my co-teachers, said, can you set him up on one of the computers? And we had about 6 laptops set up ready to go. And so she takes him over there and she gets him set up and he starts playing the reading game that's on the Raise the Bar. And I'm going through it, and I'm going to get to a page. And when I got to that page, he was listening to what I was saying. And he says, I'm on that page right now. This is so much fun. It was about 10 minutes into the game, and he's still engaged. So we get through the whole thing, and then afterwards, this lady who had come in walks up to me, holds out her hand, and says, thank you. This was fabulous. Guess whose child that was? Hers, yes. I couldn't have planned it better. There was no planning that could have helped with that, you know? It was just perfect. And she walked out of there just saying, this was great, thank you so much. And then I got an email follow-up from her, and Anna got a thank you card because she was actually one of her parents who Anna had never met. She had never come to the school. She had only ever met the dad. So she didn't even know that was one of her parents. It was really quite something. So anyways, we have all these different resources, and I just encourage you to jump in, play with them, open them up, and just see what all of these can do. So let's go through and kind of look at some screenshots. Climb Higher Colorado. Britt Havey is going to be doing a session this afternoon. She works with Climb Higher Colorado. Fabulous, the best policy guru that I know. She's fantastic. She's probably going to talk to you maybe a little bit about this, but I encourage you to get in here. What's wonderful is the resources that are available. Depending on what you choose, you can choose educators, and it will give you all kinds of really great tips on things that you can send home, things you can do in the classroom, fun things. Over here on Parents and Community Engagement, it gives you things I can do at home, things I can, you know, share with my kids, tips on questions I can ask my teachers, my child's teachers. And so as a teacher, I got in there and said, ooh, I wonder what these parents might come and ask me if they go to this site. So I read those and I'm preparing. And then there's a whole thing here for community and business leaders also. So you can actually bring this up and share it at your events. Stand for Children Colorado is fabulous. If you want to know about policy, cutting edge things that are happening, they partner with a lot of resources like Chalkbeat and different things like that. And it's a quick way to kind of keep on what's going. They also have resources. Student Achievement Partners, Colorado Core Advocates. So I'm a Colorado Core Advocate as well. And I encourage you, if you are interested in getting to know more about Common Core and how to, you know, make it work in our state, and, you know, how to get the word out, contact them, and, you know, they do wonderful conventions. I can tell you that. But anyway, they have this resource here, and it says, what are you looking for? So I put in here, one of the choices was teacher coach, another one was administrator. I put ELA literacy, because that's what I teach, and I put 5th grade, because that's my grade. And when I did that, I get all these resources. Lessons, student writing samples, assessment, tools for planning, support, etc. I mean, and then you open it up and it's just like, thank you. You make my job so much easier. Okay. Colorado Children's Campaign is very much like Stand for Children Colorado. There's just wonderful resources. And Raise the Bar, here's what I was talking about. This is what the page looks like when you go to raisethebarparents.org. And there's videos the parents can watch that shows what their kids should know, and grade level videos, and grade level writing examples. And then these are the different, there's a parent-teacher conversation, conference conversation, that you can say, hey, there's things you can print out there, and you can actually send it home with your kids ahead of time, and say, we have parent-teacher conferences next week. Look through this, and that way if you have any questions, it kind of helps guide those questions. It also gets them into your parent conferences once they know that, hey, this isn't so hard. Here's things I would like to know. Parent toolkits, reading library. I'm going to show you the reading library in a minute. And here's the reading adventures and the math adventures. It's by grade level. It's also in Spanish. Yes, they're also in Spanish, so they can play all those games in Spanish as well. So. Okay, so when you go to the reading library, you click on whatever grade level. It's 2nd through 8th grade. And, oops, I went one too far. I'm not sure how to back up. I'm on a Mac here, I'm not a Mac user. Oh, there we go, good. So when you go here, it'll come up with a whole list of books that you can read, and it has, you know, some guiding questions and some teacher resources that you can click on, and you can do it as an ebook. So especially for if you have a lot of ELLs in your classroom, you could pull it up on your Promethean board and read it together as a class, and it's already ebooked for you, which is really great. You don't have to make all those copies and scan and all that kind of stuff, and it's free, so you don't have to order it. So, okay, so Think Circa is another fabulous resource. I use this for my homework. So my reading homework, and so I already told you I have a high, level of poverty represented in my classroom. I know that when I assign internet homework, not all of my families have computers. But what I tell them is, I encourage them, again, there's the public library connection, but I also open my doors at 7:30 in the morning and we start class at 8:20. And the kids go home at 4:15 and I stay with my doors open until 5. So they can, and then they can come in and recess if they would like. So they can come in. I also don't have computers in my classroom. So I have my laptop, and I have the school laptop that they gave me, which I don't use, except for I let the kids use it. So I have my own. So I just set that up with my school stuff, and that one's for the kids. And so they can use those, and I have a couple of tablets and iPads that they can come in and do their homework on. What's neat is Think Circa is also mobile friendly. So even though they may not have computers, most of our parents have smartphones or tablets. So they can get their homework done. And what's really great is it presents reports for you, does everything for you, it's free, it's easy to set up. It gives you a site tour, it's a detailed library, it's easy to work. And you can do all kinds of reports. You can do it by student or you can do it by class. So, for example, there's this one article about Martin Luther King Jr. And this tells me that of my students who chose to do this, on the question number 1, it tells me which standard, and it tells me that 100% of these kids did well on this, okay? But look down here at this question, standard 3.4, oh, 50%. Well, guess what? I know that I need to look at this standard and I need to embed this more often into my lessons. I may have already taught this, or maybe it's still one that's coming up and I haven't taught it yet for early in the year. Either way, I know that this is one I need to focus on. I have a couple of 66 and it gives me a 73 average. The kids also know that if they get anything lower than a 60%, they have to retake it. I don't count it. So as they retake the test, reread it, retake it, then we're just working on fluency at that point as well.
Does this have math also, or is it just language arts?
This one is just language arts, but it works pretty much the same way as Khan Academy, so you can do Khan Academy. So my co-teacher who teaches math and science, he does Khan Academy for homework, and I do Think Circa for the reading, and the kids then can come in. And he just did a GoFundMe and got 10 Google or Chromebooks. And so they come in early to his room and use those, or they'll use that for my homework as well now. So we're getting there with our technology. All right, Be a Learning Hero. This is another resource where you choose the state. So you want to choose, of course, Colorado. But if you want to look at some of the other states and their questions and things, you can do that as well. Again, grade 5 English, and then I wanted to show all types of things, and when you do that, you get some really fantastic results. Tips for reading and learning at home, about English, the English standards, and these are things you could send home, or you could present them at your events. At-home reading tips, and then there's some PowerPoints and some different things there that you could use. America Achieves gives a wide variety of resources for teachers. So I encourage you to get in there and play there as well. So we're going to take it a step further. All right. to study your resources. How can you present these resources to parents and community members? How do you communicate with them and still keep it positive? Because someone like that, one parent came in, she came in and she was ready for a fight. She had some questions, and she wanted to get some answers. And she left a lot happier. What are the best ways to redirect the conversation when it starts to go south? Which resources can we present to parents and community members to engage them in student achievement? Okay, to relate to parents and community members, what do they already know? So you definitely want to talk about, talk to some of your key parents. You know your students by now, and so you've probably met most of your parents, if not all of them. What is it that they need to know? Okay, or what do they already know? What information needs to be clarified? And what are their questions and their concerns? You want to try to get as much of this information before your event as possible so you're prepared. So you need to pre-plan your event. Who is your audience? And we started working on that just a little bit, a few minutes ago. What is the purpose of your event? What are the outcomes? So backwards planning, just like we do in our class. You want to prepare your outcomes. What is it you want them to take away? And then plan around that. What will be their takeaway? Will they leave with handouts? Will they leave with notes? Will they leave excited? Will they leave with just more questions? And you'll say there's a follow-up event coming. You know, what is it you want them to take away? And how will you respond to their questions and concerns? Will you do a parking lot, ask them to post them? Will you take questions orally at the end? Do you want them to come to you one-on-one? These are things to plan out ahead of time. Okay, because if you don't, they're going to plan your session for you. You don't want them. One thing you want to try to avoid is questions in the middle of your presentation that might throw you off. Because there are some naysayers out there, there are some parents that don't understand, and we want to make sure that we keep it positive. Yes?
Then how do you, or where do you create that space for parents who have those concerns? Because, you know, thinking about the kind of events that we have, like, I want the parents to come to me and say, like, no, this is wrong. And I say, okay, great, let's fix it. And, like, sometimes those concerns come up in the middle of an event, and, like, maybe that, just like we do with students, maybe that is a teachable moment where we say, you know what, you're right, let's stop this and let's talk about that concern. Who else has that concern?
Well, here's one way to do it. Sarah, I definitely hear what you're saying, and what I'd like to do is, since I'm going to continue this presentation, I'm going to ask you to go over and talk to Alex, because Alex can definitely hear your concerns right now, and then he'll get with me and we'll brainstorm, and he and I will get together and you know, along with the administrator, the principal, and we'll handle and help you with that. So if you want to talk to Alex, then you walk right back over and continue your presentation, and that's what I've done more than once. See, that's why it's really key to have those supportive teachers and parents. So one of the things I do as a lead fellow with Colorado Educators Voice is that I have a team of teachers that have signed up to do parent engagement, and I will be attending their events. So when they have an event, I will be Alex, who's sitting off to the side, and they'll be able to say, this is Candace Green, she's a lead fellow with Colorado Educators Voice. Why don't you go ahead and step over and she'll chat with you for just a moment, and then I'll have my pen and paper ready to write down everything, and I'm prepared to listen. And that's what they want. Really, that's what they want first and foremost. Is they want you to listen. They want to be heard. Just like everybody else, right? They just want to know that we care. Or like Kyle said this morning, we have their back, that we're listening. Okay. In the next 20 minutes, we're going to work together in groups, and it might be a little bit less because I'm running slightly behind, not too bad. Groups of 2 or 4, and we're going to jump in, and we're actually going to plan an event. So you can do this with just a partner, you can do this with your full table, you can do this on your own, but you're actually going to plan an event. And so in your packet there, you have this little graphic organizer that you can use to plan your event. You also have a sample of the really simple little handout that we sent out. And we're going to talk about PR and all that kind of stuff after this. So I really want you to use your ideas for that. So you want to make sure that you include when and where, your time and your place. You want to do the what, key topics you need to present to the stakeholders, and we've already started talking about some of them. So if you need some ideas, come up here, look on what's up here. If you didn't get to put your Post-its up, this is a good time to put your Post-its up so other people can look. What are the key takeaways that you want your stakeholders to leave with, and plan the event, okay? I had several teachers that actually planned their event at this presentation I did 2 weeks ago, and they've already started getting information to me about it, so this is a good working time. Are there any questions? Okay, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna walk around, ask you questions, dig in, fill out your graphic organizer, and have fun. Okay. You're a great resource. We have more Alex. Write that down. Okay.
So cool, yes, I will be right back. So maybe the volunteer gives a summary of what they read, and then the question you have to read walking out,
Thank you.
Okay, let's come back together in 5, 4, 3, 2. Well, we worked that so well in class, right? Right? I got 2 in my 2. We're almost going to 1. Come on. Yeah, we've all been there, done that. Okay, so I heard a lot of really fascinating conversations going on, a wide variety of things. So what are your next steps? Once you plan your event, you need to know the time, place, location, takeaways, all that. The next step is to schedule a meeting with your school administrators. They need to be on board. They need to be part of it. You need to have their support. Share your event ideas and the planned outcomes. That's really what they want to know. How is this going to benefit the school? Prepare a marketing plan to ensure optimal participation. Hopefully there's not an ice storm. Create a flyer, poster, banners. Email parents for those that have email addresses. Use other online tools like the school newsletter or the school website, or I should say if you have a homework website, put it on there. If you have access to calling posts, where you can do an all-call or just have the principal do an all-call for you, use Twitter and Facebook. Like I said, they may not have a computer at home, but they are on Facebook. A lot of them do have Twitter, Instagram, different things like that. This one's really important. Encourage other teachers in your school to disseminate the information for you on your behalf. The best word of mouth is your other teachers. So on a dismissal, hey, are you going to go to the parent, engagement night next week? Hey, bring, some other families. This is also a great way to build your school community by having them bring friends and other people in the community that may So I don't know if anybody put that on your other stakeholders, but they're also your future parents of your school or your stakeholders. How do you engage them within your school to build up your school? Call specific involved parents. Okay, so you know who your involved parents are. You need to contact them ahead of time and say, hello, I'm having this event on this particular date, and I would love for you to be there. Because you know that that parent is already supportive of the things that you're doing, the goals in your classroom, the goals for your school. You need those people in your audience. So let's say, for example, Alex is busy talking to one parent. You can say, you know what, I've got Mrs. Kramer over here. She would love to go and chat with you about some of these things. Because you know Mrs. Kramer will go and listen, she will take some notes, and she'll get back with you. So that's another person that's on your side. A lot of times parent to parent is a really powerful thing. So that special invitation in advance is really important for your supportive parents. Have your sample agenda for your event to show your administrator. Offer refreshments. There is funding out there for refreshments. So if you are planning something and your school does not have any money whatsoever for refreshments, then make sure you contact me. I do have some different organizations that will fill out a little form. It's a little grant form, really easy, and they will give you some funding for refreshments. Okay, the money is out there for that. You want to have a welcome and introduction. You want to have goals for the event. That helps keep your agenda on track. Provide an overview of what you want to talk about. So if you're talking about Common Core, then provide an overview of Common Core. If this is what you could expect from CMAS and PARC, then have information about CMAS and PARC for them to have in their hands. And always introduce your resources. If you can get some people from your resources to attend your event, that's even better. So for example, one of the people that came to my event was Brittany Havey from Climb Higher. She braved the ice and she got there along with one of her colleagues. We had 2 people from Climb Higher at that event. So that was really helpful to have them there. And then we have a couple of contacts you just met today, and maybe they can attend your event as well. So we've got Laura and Alex. So they would be great resources from Stanford Children to come to your events. And then you've got Mary Grace who's jumping in there as well. So demonstrate your resources electronically. So we actually went through the reading game from Raise the Bar on interactively up here, and we answered some questions together. And it was funny because the parents were laughing, because we're like, okay, what's the answer to this? And I said, okay, turn and talk. And they're like, I'm like, demonstrate turn and talk to my fellow teachers. I'm like, oh, okay, turn and talk. And then parents were laughing, like, do you do this in class? I said, all the time. I said, this is fun. And, so we just really had fun. There's a lot of laughing, and you really want that. And offer hands-on practice, set up those laptops and let the parents get in there and dig in. Facilitate a question and answer session. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. In the beginning, state your goals, tell them how you would like to receive questions and comments. You have to do what's right for you. Can you stand there and take it as a whole group? Are you a person that really needs to have it on a parking lot? Are you a person that said, come and see me afterwards? If you'd like it more one-on-one, you can share the questions with other staff members and stuff. Another really great way to do it is to facilitate a roundtable event. So at the last 5 or 10 minutes, where you have a key person at every table that sits down on your behalf, and you're one of those people, or you can just be the facilitator, and then everybody at that table then talks to that one person. So you're really shrinking those numbers from 20 or 30 down to 4. Close the event with the opportunity to mingle, ask you one-on-one questions, and try out the resources. Again, you got to recruit colleagues and supporters to help you with all of that. Think about every possible question in advance. You know what I do to prepare for my events? I go on the opt-out Facebook website. You have to have tough skin. You have to. And I go on there and I read the comments. I can do it! When I get done reading that, I'm like, I'm ready. It just empowers me. Like, I can do this. some of the things in there you would have, I mean, it's comical. I sit there with my cup of coffee or sometimes my glass of wine, and I just sit there. Are you kidding me? So, or my margarita.
Something like it's going to be a box in the page.
And let me tell you, it depends on the Facebook website I'm going to as to the strength of the ingredients. So, the margarita site, I call this my margarita site. This is where you get a lot of myths. And there was this one on there, and there was this mom who just absolutely, bless her heart. That's all I can say. Bless her heart. She gets on there, she says, I can't believe my child's 3rd grade teacher. She sent home this book list, and she expects my child to read every single one of these books for the reading log this week. I can't believe it. And this is what Common Core is doing to our kids. They are overloading them. 16 books in a week, are you kidding me? And she can't even read half of these. And then the next comment was from the other parent in the classroom, yeah, and one of those books is the Diary of Anne Frank. My 3rd graders should not be reading the Diary of Anne Frank. It is too young for them. I can't believe she's making them do it. So then I go and I look, I thought this is easy. They even put the teacher's name in there. So I knew what school. I went over there, I went on the teacher's website. Public access, right? Suggested reading from the summer for the summer. Your child's going in 4th grade. Suggested reading for the summer. She has advanced, Diary of Anne Frank, and there's a few others. And then she has intermediate, and she has, you know, for the struggling readers. I forget how she worded it. Did not say struggling, very positive. Like, what? So, take it with a grain of salt. But be prepared. That is your best homework you can do for these events. Pre-plan possible answers and responses. I'm actually going to give you some in a couple minutes. So if you have your smartphones, you want to take a picture of the slide, you're going to love it. Connect with supportive parents in advance. Again, I can't stress that enough. Have them in the room. Have them ready to go and have your back. Okay, so here are 3 quotes that I have used successfully. Be ready for controversial parents. 1, restate their question. So what I'm hearing you say is, and then I'm restating it. While I'm restating, I'm saying, oh my gosh, you can do this, Candace, you can do this, Candace, breathe. Okay? Because I know the answer to the question, but my heart starts going because controversy, none of us like it. Conflict is not good. Right? None of us like it. So that gives me a chance to slow my heart rate down. Okay? 2, redirect them by saying things like, I am a passionate educator, an educated teacher who arrives at this school early in the morning. I arrive here every day, and I help your kids learn, and I can help you too if you give me a chance. Here's another one. I understand your concerns, but I am best at knowing how and what to teach your children so they can be well-rounded and successful individuals. And my personal favorite, I know at this time I don't have an answer for you. I'm going to be honest. I don't have an answer for you, but I will find out. I can find out, and I will let you know later. By all means, be prepared to let them know. If you cannot follow up on that, then don't say it, because they will hound you. They will. They'll go to your administrator. They'll say, she said she was going to tell me, and she never did. So if you're going to use that one, but that one tends to really like, okay. Thank you. I appreciate you letting me know. I do expect to hear from you. Okay. So, alleviate parent concerns. Colorado academic standards. Just give them the information. Let them know what it is and how it's helping. One of the best ways that you can do this is if you have a media release on your students, film them doing something that's Common Core in the classroom and show those kids on the screen. Interactive and live. There it is. As live as you can get without them being in it, right? This is what they're doing. They're enjoying themselves. They're working in a group. They're working on a project. They're solving a math problem that's not a kindergarten problem that takes a whole page and 5 hours to solve. No. They're actually model drawing and they're doing stuff and they're solving in a variety of ways and actually take pictures or better yet, film it and show the video. So there's a lot of different things, but just, have your information. Know your facts. know the difference between them, that science, social studies is, CMAS, Park is only math and English. You know how many parents need Park is everything. But you need to show, this is a great slide to show the difference. It takes teamwork. At school, teachers work diligently to follow these standards, and this is a slide that I show parents. I show them this slide. We creatively teach and model critical thinking and problem-solving skills in reading, writing, math, science, and social studies. Trust us, we know what we're doing. We are professionals. You're as much a professional as the doctor you go to take your child to, the dentist you take your child to. Trust us. And I say it just like that. It really takes a lot of their air. And hot air just kind of cools it off a little bit and just really kind of levels the playing field a little bit more. You can see that. And the fact that we're working together to help our students be successful. It takes teamwork. This is another slide that I show them. I talk about things they can do at home. It doesn't take much planning. Current events. They can sit down with a magazine, a newspaper, a National Geographic for Kids, any of this, and I give them a current event sheet. I hand out, I'm going to pass this around. This is a sample of the handout. Nope, I have it in my hand already. This is a sample of the handout that I do send home to parents. It varies depending on whether I'm doing it or one of my fellows is actually doing the event. Shopping map. I did this with my child. I remember when he was 8 years old, Calvin, I gave him a list of things and I said, son, I want you to go over there and I want you to find the best deal on canned diced tomatoes. And I was at the end of the aisle and I was watching. He's only 8. Trust me, I was there. He knew I was there. And there he is. He's reading. He's calculating. He's figuring it out. He's reading the labels. And all of a sudden, as loud as she paused, I got it! I'm like, thank you, son. Hold strong on those if you found the best deal. But he was so excited to be bought his tomatoes. And he wanted to buy the whole cart because he was at such a good deal. And I said, no, I'm buy the cart. But at 8 years old, more is better. But I'll never forget that. We start with the flyers out of the newspaper at home, and we figure out our deals, and then we also go to the store and do that. So it's a lot of fun. And then just reading everything, everywhere. Have some cereal, kiddo. What does the back of the box say? Simple things that parents can do that they just don't think that they can do it. So what's next? Try it. Just try it. Okay? Email me if you have any questions or need any help or want me to share any of this electronically. That's my alarm saying I'm out of time. Follow me on Twitter. I put a lot of different information on there, but I also, more often than not, I share other resources on Twitter. And at this time, I want to thank America Achieves and Raise the Bar because they gave me most of this information. And those quotes that I used, they weren't mine. They were from Matt Stern at Raise the Bar Parents, and he helped me with my very first event over a year ago. We co-presented a couple weeks ago, and it was great to meet him in person, and he gave me those quotes. I've changed them and made them my own, but what I showed you there, the ones he gave me, I say them a little bit differently depending on where I'm at. So, are there any questions? Okay, have fun. I hope to hear from you. I hope to hear a lot of successes. Thank you so much. Oh, and by the way, if anyone's interested in looking at the Think Circa form that I sent home, this is what it looks like for their homework. So it teaches them how to get involved in everything. So I'll leave that here, and I think my other handout is up here on this table as well.